this thing called death and how to stop it. I came here to try to figure out this thing called life and how to live it. Created there out of the earth, and the Spirit was given to us, the same Spirit that clothes the world and allows things to live.
In the company that I'm traveling with, I'm very much a child, even though I'm older than many of you. In the company that I'm traveling, on my side, on both sides, represents wisdom that has been handed down for thousands of years.
I come from the Sundance Society, as well as others. If you see my case where I carry feathers, you see a buffalo skull on it. That represents the one who gives us our power. This year at the Sundance, it was my privilege to drag the buffalo skulls. Maybe you've seen movies. I think there was one about a man called Horse. It was a little overplayed, but yet there was a lot of similarity to that and to what we do today. 6 years ago, in Wounded Knee, South Dakota, we attempted to return our Sundance ways of piercing the flesh. I said earlier, we have not much to give of ourselves. That's why when we look into ourselves, we all get lost. Nothing there to see. But we do have something that we can give, and that's our flesh. Even Christ, a long time ago, gave in the same fashion. He offered himself up to the people, and because of that, the people who were close and who could understand were given the necessary amount of spiritual intelligence to hold close to his teaching. Today it's basically the same thing. This Sundance allows us to place ourselves before the Creator, God, whoever you want to call him. I call him my grandfather. He's the oldest one of all of us. There's no older grandfather than the Creator. You can look anywhere, and you can never find anyone anywhere that's older than our grandfather. If you look around the universe, you can see him in everything, the trees, the clouds, the sky, the birds that fly over, this apple, this feather. You might not recognize him because he doesn't look like a human, but yet there is a place where you can see him. You can go there and sit there with him and see him as he is. And it's aside from all the other places that we have been able to understand in this world. It's another world called the spirit world.
Sarah talked with us about her mother's reaction to her being born.
Then the doctors came in and finally told her about my physical body. And my mother said that as soon as she was left alone, her first thought was to commit suicide. And as she was heading out, to jump out the window, she ran into a Bible. And she read these words of this very old Hebrew philosopher. And he said that Solomon, she picked up Solomon. And he was a very wise dude. I always enjoyed Solomon because I feel like he saved my mother's life. And she picked up the words that for all things there's a purpose and a reason for all beings. And she said, well, through my lack of faith and through my ignorance, I would do my life in, but I should live just to answer that question, just to find, the meaning of why this strange creature has come into my care. She's a very spiritual
That was your
woman.
mother's attitude?
Yes.
Did you have any brothers and sisters?
I have an older sister and a younger sister.
Well, the thing that I guess generally what most people feel is that if they ever had a child, I've heard people say that if they had a child like that they would kill the child.
That's ignorance again.
Or they would leave it.
It's ignorance. It's that, like my mother, she could have had a reaction of jumping out the window and destroying her life. That would have been, as she saw it, ignorance. Where to her, wisdom would have been, as Solomon put it, to understand the meaning and the purpose for things. But more than that, just to accept the fact that there is significance, there is meaning, there is purpose. There's a reason why the water is flowing past this house, And that, I think my parents have always inspired within myself to try to understand myself. My father always said, 2 things you should do. First, know yourself, know who you are, and always try to be true to it, like to try and have a true reflection of yourself, within yourself. And I think they were very good teachers.
Sarah and Henry were telling us about this little boy that they met while they were at the veterinarian. He saw her and said,
You don't have a body.
This is what happened. Your body fell off?
Yeah, you don't have a body. And I explained to him, that I do have a body, but, if he lived long enough, he'd run into people even stranger than I, to prepare himself for it. But, it would help so much, like if this were televised, so that kids like that would be familiar with strange people, and the encounter wouldn't be so traumatic.
He was kind of wanted to find somebody to annoy.
Well, he probably was a very unhappy little person. I always see him all by himself, never playing with anybody else.
Right.
He's not a happy kid, I don't think.
And we just got out there in the dirt, and we didn't know anything about farming. We didn't know anything about building a town. Very few trades. We was all ex-English majors, college dropouts, high school students, grown up in urban and suburbia environments. But we were serious about farming and wanting to do this community, and the neighbors saw that we were serious and saw that they didn't have to be afraid of us. And we made friends with a whole bunch of folks who are still our close friends and good neighbors right now. And after we made a number of friends with the neighbors, this piece of land turned up, which we're sitting on right now, right around the corner. A fellow that had seen us on TV and felt like he wouldn't mind selling this piece of land to us, sold us this land, and we paid $70 an acre for just a real beautiful piece of land, which is way back up here in the woods, down off the end of nowhere near any main highways, and just perfect for what we were looking for. It just turned up after we had made friends with the neighbors, and they weren't freaked out about us being here anymore. So that's how come we landed here, and that was 4 years ago. And since then we bought another, that was 1,000 acres that we bought, and we bought another 750. So we've got 1,750 acres here, and about 750 people after 4 years. And other satellite pieces of land around here that we're farming. So that we're all told farming about 800 acres this year.
Spiritual thing, it really does it. Because each birth is really a miracle. We see miracles happen all the time.
Yeah. We really believe that each birth is the birth of the Christ child. Each one, each baby is just so, so stunning.
Yeah, it's far out. You never get used to it,
Yeah.
Each time.
Yeah.
It's just so heavy.
It's so heavy.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
I noticed that people here seem to really be into the truth, when they see something that's kind of out of sync or out of harmony. People that are out of harmony with themselves, they're not afraid to say it.
Mm-hmm.
It's, is that part of what he's?
That's really part of it. It's just like compassion and telling the truth and living your life really truthfully, as truthfully as you can, and just being really compassionate. But he's just a standard for that. Just always there, And you can always go and check it out with him. And if he's not around, you can dream about him, and he'll tell you that.
Yeah.
That happens to me a lot when he's away.
Yeah. He's like the pure, inside everybody has the one that they, is really the right person and doing the best they can, and just, like the highest one,
Where are we anyway?
This is the farm.
Reality.
Yeah. I guess it's Stephen Gaskin and family's farm, right?
Right.
Are the one, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls, who form the embodiment of the Master, the Spirit of guidance.
Say it once more.
Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, 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 Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram.
But I think it's better to think in terms of timelessness. It's just outside the realm of time.
So that many of the Sufis say, the beloved is all, the lover is nothing. He is a cover, he is a dead being. You know what it means to love, even humanly, to love to such an extent that the beloved means everything. One just isn't important. That's the way to be shattered in the sense of yourself, by love. Understanding, yes. For the one to whom understanding is important, it's a very traumatic experience when his understanding is shattered. It's part of the shattering of the being. But the shattering of love is still greater. When, I don't know, one goes through such agony of heart, because it is the ego that is the most involved in love. That's the thing that is attacked by love. So that you become egoless. Imagine that you were walking about without a self, and you just didn't know where yourself was. Yourself is in orbit somewhere. You can't find it anymore. And you can just the thought of the beloved is so overwhelming that there's nothing else that is important except the beauty or the wonder or the glory of the beloved. Think what it does to you. Well, according to the Sufis, according to Nifari, this is the way in which God becomes you. Because when you think that you are loving, you're in love, it is His love that is creating you and that you experience as though it were annihilating you, and in fact it is creating you by annihilating you. And you can't be created without being annihilated. Hazrat Inayat Khan once said, Christ cannot be without a cross. A life cannot be without death. Love cannot be without fana, which means annihilation. And don't think that Sufism then is the science of annihilation. No. It is the way of resurrection. But resurrection passes through annihilation.
Something to tell you, and this doctor will tell it to you much better than I can even tell you, all right? He's a good man. He's been around a lot. He's written a lot of books. There's one book he said, it's called Better Bread Than Dead. There's another book he done written for you guys. It's called The Sun Also Rises in the East. Well, now we got it. Here he comes. I hope you give him a good hand. His name is Dr. Graham Cracker Seymour. Thank you very much. Yay. Hello, how are you, everybody? How are you? I got some news. It's pretty hot. Anyway, it's related to all this stuff we're talking about, you know? This stuff about research, growing, and the temperatures and how the things grow, how to get bigger and smaller and stuff like that. Well, I got something to tell you that's really hot. Up in Scotland, way up in Scotland, up in Finhorn, there's a place that these people got together with these nature spirits. Well, what'd you say? You don't believe me, huh? Well, nature spirits, just like they are in the books, like that Pan guy with the hooves and the flute and everything like that. That guy there, he got together with these other guys, these people, and they kind of growing stuff. And what they growing is they're ending up with 42-pound cabbages. Yeah, I know you don't believe a word I'm saying, but it's the truth. There ain't no phony baloney about it. You can look it up in the books if you wanna. That's where I learned it. And then I heard about it, and I seen it myself. And it ain't no joke. So There's other ways of going about this besides there's climates and the temperature and the look at the sun and all that stuff. There's some other people working that you can't even see. See you later. Keep it in your hat, kids. Keep it in your hat.
And there's reason for a low cost, or let's say available for the masses, dehydrated instant bean. I'll just use that as an example, as well as a frozen or specially delivered bean delight that has all kinds of sauces.
We'll get right back to the show in a minute, but first, here's Dusty Trails with a word about duck bean dip. Howdy buckaroos and buckarettes and mother buckers. This is Dusty Trails here with just a brief word about Duck Bean's new improved old-fashioned bean dip. Now, if you're at all sincere about getting your chips dipped, partner, have I got a place for you to stick 'em. Right smack dab into the middle of a big steaming hot bowl of duck bean dip. Why, duck bean dip will make even the stalest of tortilla chips stand up and come alive with newborn flavor and robustness right in your very own mouth or home. And duck bean dip not only goes good with tortilla chips, but with taco chips and poker chips, chocolate chips, camel chips, buffalo chips, cow chips, wooden chips across the water, chips off the old block, Chips Ahoy, and chipmunk chips. And duck bean dip is not just for big dippers or little dippers, but for dippers from all walks of life. Hey, but don't let Dusty give you a bum steer now. Why, Duck Bean's gargantuan sales record speaks for itself. You see, people have eaten over 4011 bazillion cans of duck bean dip, and Duck Beans has sold almost twice that many. So next time you're down at your friendly grocery market, if you act now while our special offer lasts, you send in any 5 labels from any 5 cans of duck bean dip, that and $500 in small unmarked bills to Box 4011, Waco, Poland. And if we receive your order before midnight of last Wednesday, you are entitled to a gift certificate with which you can get 1 free can of Duck Bean's Cowboys Delight aerosol cheese spray in combination yodel repellent. Now then, if we receive your order before midnight of last Tuesday, you will also get 1 free Duck Bean now, reversible, genuine, synthetic, authentic, genuine Duck Bean belt buckle. So next time you're down at your friendly grocery market, partner, you pick yourself up a can of Duck Bean dip and see if old Dusty ain't telling it like it is.
Okay, let's try this. Cheers.
There you go.
How is it? It's good. Very good. We're next. Just the meat is not real.
The vegetables are real, but the meat is made out of soy. So it's a high protein soy.
It's all going to get mixed up anyway. Thank you very much.
High protein.
High protein.
Would you like 1 or 2 slices?
Is it real bread?
Yes.
I'll have 1 slice.
This is
Thank you very much.
I'd still like to know whether the strawberry was real or hydrophobic or whatever. The protein more hydroponic? Oh, okay. The protein morsels actually felt like meat, but I think they had to be cooked about another hour longer. They were kind of hard and rubbery. The noodles were less rubbery than noodles or macaroni usually is, but not too bad. A little bit of salt could have been just fine. What else?
You ate the whole.
The bacon. I ate the whole thing, so it couldn't have been too bad. I'm full. The bacon bits were very convincing, a little less crisp than bacon bits would be, but really convincing. The dressing was tasty, even though my basic point of view is against any chemically prepared salad dressing. But I ate it all, notice. And I didn't want to taste the orange cappuccino, but I drank it all. So that's about it. It was not too bad.
How about you? Same thing?
I didn't eat it. I didn't like the way it was served or the way it looked, and I was turned off. I don't see it as the food of the future.
What do you think it is then?
You know, just looking at it now, it looks like I've been to McDonald's, takeout food or something. You know, the salad isn't as inviting as a salad I would make. I've been eating more organic foods and more basic foods. So to me, the food of the future would be very basic foods.
Relationship to that. It may be because your body's been whacked out by drinking too much or whatever, and that may start it, or it may be tension. I never really thought about it as tension, but that's a possibility. I know with me that there's some days when I couldn't stand to eat junk food, and there are other days when I can't stand not to eat it. And if I sat down and tried to correlate why, or the days that I wanted junk food, there probably would be some reason like tension or just feeling lousy.
Is it delicious?
Yeah.
You like hot dogs, huh? What does it taste like? What's it taste like?
Tastes like ice cream cone.
Wait a minute. It's a hot dog, not an ice cream cone. They all taste the same, huh?
It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will